But what is it about the eyes, nose, and mouth, and what object within those structures is important? That is a central question, because then you can order the face in the right way. So there's something in the eyes, nose, and mouth that is central in that, or in those sub-anatomic locations. Dr. Yarbus and Riggs did a study where they asked people to evaluate a picture of a boy. And then they asked those people to just look at the picture of a boy. But what they did was they marked where those eyes hit, and they had a way to quantitate or know where those eyes were looking at. And this was really interesting because it allowed us to see where we actually spend most of our time looking. And what we see is that there's something here, here, and here that we really concentrate on. And notice the majority of the dots are on the right side of the person's face, or the left visual space, which correlates with our right side of our brain, which appreciates beauty. Now, as you can see, the concentration of dots, especially in the eye area, is located in this area. Now, that location is essentially the iris, and that's one of the central principles of my theory. Everything on the face has to have some ideal between 0 and infinity. For example, if this was just not there, you could be very beautiful, but just having this not present would give you a much lower aesthetic value in terms of your beauty. But everything has to have an ideal between 0 and infinity. And in between that 0 and infinity, because we spend so much time looking at the iris, that's our measuring stick. The iris is the key to figuring out beauty. Everything in the face has to be in some way a proportion of an iris width. For example, in this beautiful lady here, the width of her nose, the size of her nasal tip, the size of this nostril area, the distance from her nose to her lip, and the height of her lower lip should all be in iris width. And it's really just logical that it is that way, because we spend so much time looking at the iris, and it's really the only way that our brains can figure out some sort of correlation. And this goes on to show you in just a diagram the same principle that I just talked about. In addition, the distance from the eyebrow to the top of the or eyelid margin should also be an iris width. And that's essential to our understanding of how we want to determine where the eyebrow is going to sit in a person in the most ideal way. As you can see in many results, that sometimes those eyebrows or eyebrow lifts can raise the eyebrow to a surprising kind of appearance. And we never knew really why that was, or what quantitatively determined whether that person was going to look surprised or not. But this theory answers that question. Anything above an iris width is going to be assessed as being sort of surprised. Now, the eyes, nasal tip, lower lip, and lower part of the chin are the center areas. And each one of those areas should be separated by 3 iris widths. The distance from here to here, from here to here, from there to there, and from there to there should all be 3 iris widths. Now also, this diagram shows that because the eyes, nose, and mouth are central in our organization, the eyes and nose form an association called an oblique, first oblique that I termed the first oblique. And that determines the other locations of the other arrangements. For example, bottom of the lip and the top of the ear. And then also the shadowing below that line should correlate with that line here. It should increase here and increase there. Now, there are many different elements in the mouth and eyes. The size of the lower lip should be about the size of the eye, and the puckering should be about the width of the eye. And it goes on to show that all the elements in the mouth and the size of the mouth should be approximate to the size of the eye. And anytime we smile, we'll constantly enhance the sensation and the vitality of the eye when we talk and smile. And everything in the face has to be related in some way. The distance between the eyes should be the same distance as the half face, and also the width of the mouth. And if the face or the structures of the face don't fit into the obliques that I showed you earlier, they're going to be associated in some way. For example, the eyebrow should be approximately associated with the lower face in some way. Or in this example, the eyebrow should be about 18 degrees and the slant of the eye should be about 9 degrees. So essentially, every part of the face should fit into either 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 18 degrees, 9 degrees, or 45 degrees. So in some way, every element in the face has to be ordered, and that constantly reminds us of the order in the face, and hence order that we appreciate and desire on a very cellular level. Now, do I have proof of all these theories? And I do. I wrote a paper called The Circles of Prominence, which I published in the Archives of Facial Plastic Surgery, and I received the Sir Harold Dolph Gillies Award for this scientific paper that was published in a peer-reviewed journal article. And I basically took a group of pictures that in a clinic and a group of pictures of very beautiful people, and I was able to correlate how people assessed a particular picture was how beautiful it was, and the variances from my theory. And so I was able to correlate that my theory was actually had a strong suggestion that my theory was correct. Now, this theory applies cross-culturally. As you can see in this lady, although she's definitely Asian, she's going to have some of the same elements that fit my theory. Now, I wanted to bring my picture into play because I wanted to show, when you go into plastic surgeon's office, they always tell you all these different things that you can improve. Well, I wanted to bring me into the discussion to be fair. As you can see, my nasal tip is larger, and my lower third gets bigger because this distance is increased, but my lower lip's about ideal. But I wanted to also show you something else. As the distance goes into my lower face, I markedly get larger. So that sort of detracts from my aesthetics, but that's okay because I'm a male, and males are distinguished by a lower third, a larger lower third. And as you can see that the mouth area is a lot larger than my eye structures. But in Katie Holmes, things just fit very close. The width of the nose, size of the nasal tip, the distance from here to here, and the height of the lower lip. And look at the shadowing. It's markedly in this area, and it all emphasizes the eye. And her distance doesn't increase very much. And I'll show you through the circles that her mouth circles are very close to her eye circles. And as I showed you, the width of her face, side of her face, should be about the distance between her eyes and her mouth. And as you can see in her mouth area, they are very close to being correlating. So thank you very much, this is my theory on facial beauty, and I totally believe that my theory is going to change the way plastic surgery is practiced, and I'm really excited about it. Thank you.